Welcome everyone. Hope all is good. What's happening? How's everyone's CPI day went? Can run through it. It's quite an interesting day actually on the Treasuries. So let me know. Let me know what's going on, how you're doing, what's happening. Wait for another couple of people to join, and then we'll jump in. We added the dollar index. Now, sadly, Sierra doesn't have access to the futures contract, so I had to make do for this. But we're using 6E, but the euro correlation to bonds is meh. It's not that great. Dollar correlation's great, and at the moment, basically, when it's risk off flows, you've got the safe havens where funds tend to flow into. So this is the yen, and then we've just got certain parts of the curve up. Had this on different screens up until towards the end of last week, actually, and then I managed to sort Sierra out where it can half everything, which is good. Jengi, hello. Candleman, how's it going, dude? Chris, welcome. Welcome. So tell me, how's your day been? Do you guys take any trades today? We took a number of trades on the 10-year today. So I'm just going to double check and bring this up so you guys can see it. So this is the notes that I had. I don't know if you can see this okay. This is the notes I had up for the CPI. So very quickly, we had a little bit of a less than expected number come in for the year on year for inflation. We then had forecast, forecast, and forecast. Okay, so pretty much in line with what's expected. So in essence, the market is right. It was pricing in everything, but yet the dollar started to rise. In fact, let's run through that. So if we zoom out here, you can see this is the initial spike. If you guys can see this down here, let's quickly make this a big screen so you can have a look at this. Just have a look at the overall market quickly. So this came out, the market was down here. The market went then extremely bid initially when the news then came out. Okay, then we in essence sold off, and when it was selling off, and it wasn't like, you know, it was a huge beat and inflation ticked up higher. It was in forecast, and the year on year had basically printed down ever so slightly, slight miss, right? Which in essence is meant to be good for bonds and notes, bad for the dollar, because it means that the Fed is going to be cutting, right? So in light with that, I was thinking, geez, oh, we're selling off pretty aggressively here. You know, I'm not buying this. Like I'm not buying that this is the market's correcting so much. So I was basically bidding down here because it was the previous days, singles getting down about this area. Uh, so we took in our couple of scalps around here, and then when the market then settled down after this 30-minute period, we were basically just buying the whole way up. The only thing I was a little bit cheesed off at is I didn't capture a lot of the move on this buying. We finished the day with like 7 ticks, which is good. I mean, don't get me wrong, decent enough day, but could have been a lot more, to be honest. So that's kind of what annoys me, about these type of days, But I think we took like four ticks in one of these moves. It was pretty painless, and I just wasn't wanting it to come back. And then of course we then just went straight bid. But c'est la vie. So still learning the ropes, no trading for me, just observing and taking notes. Nice. You're pretty good. You took one trade on ES and a couple on MNQ. Nice one, Jengi. I like to hear. Yeah, Chris, good that you're taking your time, mate. To sort of get into the mix. I mean, from just starting to what you're seeing on the deck right now is a world away. So uh, take it as it goes, mate. This is I wouldn't say it's complicated when you don't know what you're looking for, but when you get proficient at it, um, you just get an idea. For example, and with experience and watching markets, the reason why I was buying today was basically the market had already priced that in, and a sell off. Just I wasn't like I just wasn't buying it, to be honest with you, and neither was the market because it went bid back up. Um, and you'll get an idea of very simply for that session. Like it's very important. One of the number one things I think people need to realize is um, the sentiment for that session is very important. What are the delta flows, and you see everything coming into place. So you need to have an idea of where the broad market is at for the session. And every year that you continually to do trading, you will look back at it and think, holy smokes, a year ago I had no idea what I was doing. Let me know if you guys will get any questions. Um, Let me know. I think we covered this in the previous stream, but this is the 5 year, this is the 30 year, this is the 10, this is the ultra 10 year, this is the ultra bond. This we had euro dollar in here, um, but I've now got the yen, which is against the dollar, and then a dollar index. I really wish I could get, I would pay $100 a month or something for it if I could get the ICE futures DOM here for the dollar index, to be honest with you. Um, but I can't, so I have to settle for a candlestick, which, meh, not really a fan. Doesn't really tell me anything. Do you know what I mean? RP, how's it going? How's it going, buddy? What's occurring? Do you take any trades today, dude? What's been happening? We'll bring up. Do you guys want to look at treasuries, run through some things, or do you want me to jump into indices? We can run through. Interesting day. We just traded out up here. Of course, just before I come on. Well, it wasn't just before actually. It was about an hour or so ago. I was thinking, you know, I was going to basically bid here back into like 25s. But I just wasn't liking how the dollar index was going higher, yen was dropping, and the 30 year looked pretty weak when it was down here, and the 5 is at VWAP. I was thinking a lot of delta had to be, was going to want to be closed off. Um, because when you look at down here, it's quite a light traded area down here. So if they did crack it, we could very easily beat the value area low, and I'm not willing at this time in the day to sit through a trade because look how thick the bidding offer is. Um, just not a time. So I think it went one tick against me, and then I just scratched. And then I was right though, ultimately down 3 ticks, and then now it's working its way back up. So that was the last trade of the day, to be honest. I was trying to take it for 3-4 ticks, but look at the volume. The volume when I entered, I was thinking it was like here. It was this candle. Um, Volume had kind of dried up, so I was thinking, right, not a huge a lot of volume for us to basically crack. And I was right with that. Is you're going to need, depending on the day, but you're going to need it. I would say 40k volume and a 50-minute candle in order to crack through. And you just see how volume's just absolutely dying off here. I'll show you this as an example, what I mean by dying off. So when we go back to the open time, right, and CPI was out, 233,000 contracts traded in this 15-minute period, then 81, then 40, then 45, then 74, 77. You know, this if you hadn't made your money in this time frame, the volume's picking up. You know, essentially the volume is good till like 11 a.m. New York time, and then it just basically drops off a cliff. You're down to like 30, 20, 20, a little bit some here, but the market just sort of dries up. Um, you know, you need volume to have good moves, to be honest, and this was the time. I mean, this 50-minute candle here, you did basically like 2 hours of volume. You know, like now, for example. So that was the reason why I was thinking we weren't going to crack, but then just how thick the 10-year is, not really ideal. I mean, 30 years, I suppose you probably could scalp around at this time, but again, it's pretty late for me, so. No problem, Chris. Yeah, mate. I mean, good that you're starting with that. To be honest with you, and not using your own money. I mean, these are really just education platforms to get you used to some skin in the game. Um, and once you get proficient at it, you know, in my opinion, I think the money that to be made in prop firms is to keep the risk extremely small per account, um, and then basically just scale the accounts. So you're copying like 3 and 5 of them or whatever. Um, because the trick is with these accounts where they get you out is there's a trailing drawdown in them. I know there's an end of day and there's an actual intraday draw. The intraday one's an absolute scam. But anyway, the the problem with this is you need to continually grow that account without having any real pullback in equity. And the only way you're going to do that is by really, really controlling risk extremely. And then the trouble is, unless you've got a massive account with them, say you take the max one, they make it so unfavorable to the trader because you normally need to, say you've got like 5k drawdown, you need to make like 10, 15k or something ridiculous. So the smaller accounts, they typically are for a drawdown to profit target, tend to be better. So you're better taking the lower accounts, really dialing down your risk, um, and trading that way, so that you're always going to withstand the pullback until you get to a huge buffer, and then gradually scale it up. The only thing that with these accounts is they're going to transfer. I actually have a prop account with TopStep. I don't really promote any of that. I never want to be a channel where I go, oh hey, here's use my coupon codes and all that shit. That's not the way I want this ever to be honest. So I'm never going to recommend any firms or anything along those lines. Um, unless they're doing something completely different. Uh, and to be honest with you, I would be more interested in starting my own firm than I would recommend someone else. To be honest with you. So one of the reason why I'm saying this is because when they transfer you to a live environment, you're then a professional in the CME's eyes, and then I would then need to pay higher data fees and stuff, which I don't want to do. Rob, how's it going, dude? So Rob, I was faffing about with your correlation sheet actually. So I've got the yen on there now, and sadly I can't get ICE futures for the dollar index, so I have to settle with the CFDs. So I've been faffing around with that. It's pretty good to be honest. Um, Yeah, it beats just having the euro. I mean, I've always had the euro and some dollar correlations up anyway, but I think it's nice. I I think adding on the Swiss franc is I tried, but it's really tilting me that Sierra. I need to raise a ticket with them. Like the scaling is off on the Swiss franc contract, and it really I can't look at it. You know, not that I've got any form of like ADHD or anything, but it really triggers me that all the stuff overlaps. Um. So yeah, no trades. It's good that you got a lot of you guys took no trades. See, Frere, you took two trades on the 10-year, 8 and 40. Oh wow, well done. 8 ticks is a cracker. I take it you bought. Did you buy D period by any chance, or what time would that be for you? New York time, basically the open of equities. Yeah, the Swiss is off. The Swiss is off. Yeah, but when I'll show you what I mean. It's really triggering. So it's just success, right? So let me just show you this. There we go. Do you see that? Look how triggering that is. Do you see how it's overlapping? I can't look at that. And then if I go to right click auto scale, doesn't do anything, so it's overlapping and stuff. I faffed around with the tick size and things, so it's just a pain to look at. Yeah, it's something to do with the settings. Like I feel it's to do with the tick size. And I even tried to change the fonts and stuff, but it should be auto scaling the fonts. See how the volume profile is doing that, but then the bid and offer is not. So it's just a bit weird. Um, just a bit weird. I'd like to get that sorted. I mean, the yen is correlated as well, of course, but you know. So let's get that. It's pain in the eyes. Is it 6G add up? If you see what I mean, see how it just loads and it fits in the boxes and stuff. OCD. Yeah, I would say. I mean, the thing is, OCD would normally mean you're meant to be quite organized and stuff, potentially, but I am really not. Like the opposite of that. Um, but yeah, I think you need to be on the spectrum some which way in order to trade. You need to be a absolute madman. Get up every day to potentially trade something and predict the future, and consistently take money out of something that you don't know what's going to happen. It's like the sign of madness. Yeah, I'll need to speak to the Sierra dudes to be honest with you, but it just pains me um, to open up a ticket with them. To be honest, I need to do that. There is a new update. I don't know if you guys use Sierra, if anyone has like a roadmap, because that support board is shocking. Like I would like to see like a release notes or something. Would be great. Pig. So yeah, so let's jump into indices because this is like watching paint dry. Look how thick this book is. There's just absolutely no point trading. I mean, you can maybe get away with it on the 30 year, but to be honest, um, there's not really any point. Right, I'm going to save this, and then we'll open up ladders. See what's going on in the. the stock world today. Potentially. Potentially. Right, let's have a quick scan of Ruski, see what's happened in this absolutely bananas market. So as the data came out, it was 8:30 the data, right? Yeah. So let's have a look at that, which is 1:30 my time. So here, data came out, we had an initial spike, faffed around. Okay, it wasn't really that crazy actually, just a spike and then a consolidation, dump it open. Um, and then just straight bid up, sweep the high. Wow. Quite a range today, and we've actually ended in balance, to be honest. Let's bring up the profile, see what's happening. So we're now back into this extreme high volume nodes. Let me get pen out so I can start drawing stuff. Patachi, how's it going? Yeah, it's 1:30. Yeah. So an hour before cash open. Right, there's too many lines here. Okay, so we had this drawn out because the market, basically buyers had to crack here. If we can extend this up a little bit, but this is, you know, basically ridiculously high volume nodes. And if we scroll back, the market has really traded out this area. Buyers, in order to continue the bids, basically need to crack above like here, right? And then we continue up the ways. I mean, this level seems you know, is miles away now, isn't it? Just shows the typical anytime the market drops 5 to 10%, just buy it and just don't check it for the next year. Sell side, I mean, look at this. Has been relatively straightforward though for today. You know, we're going to end in balance here, to be honest. Um, I just can't see us in this session at close breaking here. You know, that's too big a splooge. You know, I can't see us breaking this level here. To be honest, in this session. So I mean, where's the opportunity? Let's get our playbook out here and see where are the levels where people need to get out, and then we need to check out what the delta is saying as well for the session. So we split this into its own profile so you can see, but you guys realize roughly where we're at. Okay, let's full screen this puppy and then we'll jump into the DOM just so we can quickly catch up what's happening in the world. And there is only 7k delta today, so no one, you know, delta flows are pretty flat. This is going to be a grim close. I can't see anything happening here. So delta's been following price up here, then a sell off which delta follows, then pretty much just exiting positions, then faff around. We've now been in this level now for a couple of hours. You know, if we just draw out the levels where these market making firms are going to be driving price to, extend, And then down here, which is also VWAP to support it, and the previous day high. Yeah. And also this is the value area high as well, deviation bands. And I mean, absolute what, Hail Mary to get up here. Hail Mary to get up here somehow and fade back. And then I think the probably absolute low is going to be here on the session if we do get there. That's pretty much it. But I can't really see that happening. Yeah, so Delta's plus 7k. So I mean, it's positive, right? But relatively neutral. It's not like it's 20k where people need to start flattening out. So there's no open interest that we seen yesterday when we had this dump off and stuff, where they got to close off some that you can see here. There's none of that really in play here. It's just a kind of continual grind. So nothing's really going to happen here until they basically bang the high. They'll maybe do a little bit of a stop run, and then we'll probably just sweep back in. But they're going to really need some flows to come in to even contend with any of that. So I think a pretty boring close is on the cards, to be honest. You presume that inside days are good for DOM guys because you're looking for action within recent previous trading ranges. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, we're looking for sweeps of high. I mean, if it's ES, right? I can't break out trade ES, mainly because I've got absolutely no idea when it breaks the level. Like, how far is it going to go? Is it going to go 10 ticks? Is it going to go 100 ticks? When do I need to puke? You know what I mean? Because if you end up thinking, right, I'm going to try and bang this, and then it goes, great, but then it's quite difficult to be honest with you to manage those breakout trades. And in essence, if you don't time it absolutely correctly, or at least preempt the breakout, um, you're say you're buying the breakout level, you're going to get stuffed really quickly. And ES is a really mean reverting market anyways. So just for me personally, I've always preferred, to try and get involved at, key swing points or inflection points in the chart, look for people being trapped or some absorption and then sweep it back into value. But then on the flip side, when I trade treasuries, I love breakout trading on treasuries, very simply. I'm not actually buying a complete breakout level though, but I'm anticipating the break, and then when it does go, it tends to go. It doesn't do the whole, sweeperoo, so you tend to get a little bit more flows in there. It's a different market. Oh, thanks, Robbie boy. Appreciate that, dude. Postman, you took a long from 5446, so 46. That's miles away. What, way down here? Wow. What did you get out at the top? Let's see, how many tickaroos did you take out of that? Because that's an absolute stonking trade. Massive amount of sales been absorbed from down there. Oh, nice one, dude. I mean, look at all the bubbles here, the amount of size it's been hit and the market's absorbed. And you can kind of see that the selling is extremely over exaggerated down here. It'd be interesting to see what the DOM was like, but I'm assuming it would have been thousands of contracts hitting in and absorbed on the bid. Um, and to be honest with you, with that data coming out, uh, I would only really be looking to buy ES with that data come out today. Because in my opinion, when the market prefers cheaper money, very very simply, or stocks prefer cheaper money. Um, So that data come out today. It was relatively priced in, so any rule extension down would be a good bid up, to be honest. And that's the sort of fundamental idea and just a gauge. Obviously, some days, if I hold on to that sentiment, you need to be willing to throw that sentiment out the window if the flows are showing something different. To be honest. No problem, dude. I mean, let's be serious, right? If you're using the depth of market and you're trading, it's almost like this is how it works. The time that you say I'm gonna hold this, right, is the time that it comes back, and the time you say I'm gonna hold this at break even, right, is when you take the stop. You know what I mean? So you just need to be consistent with your setup and be happy with it. You know, I beat myself up a little bit about it where like today, I should have taken far more on the trades the winning trades. The positions were good, and I didn't take enough off. I didn't take enough from them. Um, but that's c'est la vie, shit happens. You still had a good day, Someone probably lost the farm today on these trades on the today's market. So, but yeah, how did you do today, Rob? What were you thinking? Did you buy any of that dip in bonds? Oh, Jamesy boy, I just saw your message there, dude. Yeah, price action today is shocker. I mean, very typically, in my opinion, the you should really have made your money in the mornings. Um, it's kind of different in ES because sometimes if it's a really poor morning, typically you have a good afternoon in terms of some volume coming in. Um, but I know in treasuries, if I've not made my money by 1 p.m. New York time, I'm like, just stop it. You know, it's not even that. It's not like in treasuries, you can't just steam into trades because you're instantly one tick offside and it doesn't move. So it's not like a market that you can just um go kamikaze in, to be honest. So I just have a rule. Very funny actually. When I'll show you this, it's kind of like my cut-off point. So if I go, what have I just done? There we go. Honestly, Sierra, it's gonna kill me. Right, I'll show you what I mean. So when I go back to this here and we look at, see all these orders. There was some orders up here, uh, but see when literally when it turns 1 p.m. between 1 p.m. and 5 past 1, they literally turn on these orders. Like they just flash and turn on, and as soon as these turn on, the book thickens up aggressively, and then that's typically my, like, I'm done. I'm normally done before then anyway, but if I wasn't done, this is the time to be done. You know, because who at this time of day is going to be stepping up and buying 2,000 contracts to clear? And these orders, believe it or not, for the amount of times I've actually looked at it, it's not like ES. These orders are real. They typically do not get pulled. Uh, so yeah, just if you understand what I'm saying, you can't really do anything here. So of course this is pulling in when I literally went break even in one of the trades. But anyway, yeah. So you waited for numbers release, but then saw ZF ZM was pushing down heavy, so you went short for only 7 ticks, although I should have held it. Oh, you did? Did you go short? Nice one, dude. Nice one you caught that, to be honest. I was not expecting. So when I was listening to the news report and I went back to the charts and it was dumping, I was like, wait, what? I was not expecting that. So I was thinking, right, I need to wait. Like, I want to be buying, so I need to wait until this market chills out a little bit. And then I'll buy back up because the numbers come out didn't really make much sense to have a complete dump off like that, to be honest. It looked a bit, it looked like to me a bit more of a correction on overnight inventory than it did like, true dumping because the data was bad or whatever. And that is exactly why there's a market. Everyone has got a different view of where everything's going. Sort the delta out here and have a little looky. So we are just grinding slightly higher here. The 3k delta roughly to get here. Today actually the flows are kind of respecting, prices respecting the flows that's coming in, which is not very typical at the moment. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, mate. I did the same, dude. Basically, it went all the way back up to, yeah, it was a monster move. Monster move. I did the same as you did, so I didn't take enough. But it is what it is. On to tomorrow. Flows were pretty readable. Let me know if you guys have got any questions. Are you guys in any trades? So here we're at this sweeperoo point. Let's actually draw this. I want to see if there's a little stop run, if I can quickly hurry myself up here. Oh, oh, oh. We're popping. Let's see if they can hit it. 74 and a half here. Right. Let's see if we can break out this little mini range. Or are we just going to pull the bid and then get the way back in? So this is exactly where you need to see some size coming in. You know, it doesn't look like it at the minute. How often do I hit my daily loss limit? Not very often, to be honest with you. Um, you know, I've learned to get extremely proficient at managing the downside. Um, Normally, if I take an L on a trade, I'll be like, why was that? I'm offside, and I'm a firm believer of if you're offside, just cut it. Um, Obviously, it goes without saying you need to have already worked out before you get in the trade. Is this like a couple of ticks that I'm going to take, or if this one if this one's got some movement in it, am I willing to take a bit of heat on it? You need to obviously have established that so you know how much room to give it. So providing I have done that, and depending on what the tick stop is, for example, I typically never go over 5 ticks off. Typically, um, and then if I'm looking to take a scalp and everything is going offered when I'm buying, and I'll look to try and like my finger is on the pulse to try and cover if it doesn't do anything. I'll just take a couple of ticks. And the reason why I do that is when you're out of the trade and you cut it, right, it allows you to disconnect from the trade. Because let's be serious, right? When you've got hundreds, on a tick moving, this is treasuries, right? Slightly different for ES, but when you've got hundreds on a move, a tick, I don't know about you, but it's going to be hard to think clearly about that. So sometimes it's better to just take a couple of ticks, loss if you're offside, um, and then reevaluate. But that's saying you've not to be a wuss and just checking out because you're two ticks. You need to have worked everything out. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully that makes sense. But in terms of losing days, I win over 80% of days. And personally, you're only doing that in treasuries. If anyone can do that on ES consistently, you know, you're a god. And I would rather trade. I see the way that I look at this. I don't know if you guys play poker, but ES and NQ is very much like tournament poker, where you can get bigger returns. You go for the bigger swings. If you've got the balls for that. I don't. So whereas treasuries and fixed income for for different markets, or different exchanges, is typically the way I see it is like cash poker, where you're kind of consistently grinding out, the flows are readable. You know, that's the way I see it. That was quite a long-winded answer, mate, to tell you that, but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And I would rather have controlled down and up days than big swings. It's easy. It's easier on the mind. Just like another day at work. You know how much you're going to lose within a ballpark. You try never to let a blowout day happen. Always keep it manageable, and then your winning days take care of themselves. Cool. Love the color. The color of the DOMs, you mean, or the color of the charts? What color you liking, dude? This is exactly my point, dude. With the breakouts, man. This is exactly what I was saying. Whereabouts do you book it? You need to have it below POC. Um, I know what I normally check for breakouts is you need volume to come in, right? Because if there's no volume to sustain a move, you need someone to step up and bang it, sustain it, so the stops are triggered, and then you need to continually buy it up, ideally. So if you get up here and no buyers are willing to hit it, likely you're just going to mean revert. But you're probably going to need to take quite a big stop here. You need to be below POC or something to give it some room. Because they just pull the bid. If you buy this right now, they just pull the bid and you're offside 6 7 ticks, like in a heartbeat. They just did that a second ago. The color commentary. Can you elaborate on that, mate? What does that mean? The color. Am I being a potato here? I'm not knowing what that means. two ways to bang through this. The offer needs to dissipate, but we need some buyers to basically start throwing some stuff. Let's clear the delta so we can see what's happening up here. Wow, why did that just do that? So we can see at the highs here, there's not really been much attempted. You know what I mean? Like you need to see some oomph. There's not. The last thing you want to see here is just a bid being pulled. So watch what's traded in the inside prints. If it's not a few hundred, I mean the market's moving through here and they're trading a few contracts, so they're just pulling the bids. So I mean best guess, I mean they maybe try and absorb here and then bang it, but I don't know. My question for these breakouts at this time is always why now? Do you know what I mean? Like why is the market just going to break this second? Also, it doesn't help that NQ's below point of control. I would really want NQ to be like up here. Um, the Dow and the Russell are. I mean, they're like up at this level. But I'd want to see NQ work its way up here. Um, the fact that NQ is dropping, yes, it's just never going to pop the highs when this is dropping. It's not going to happen. And also then you've got a bit of a battle going to happen at POC here, so NQ needs to clear that first before this. So until that happens, no bueno on the breakout. So keep your eye on this wild NQ dude here. That's just a quick rundown. And then if we basically get back into value here, then likely we're just going to faff around at POC, and then we're now an hour or so away from some volatility come in, but we'll definitely extend the ranges and stuff then. Oh, thanks, dude. That's a very nice description. Ah, okay, cool. Thanks for that, man. What do you think is the most traded asset amongst professionals? Yeah, 100%. If it's a Eurex product, it's probably going to be the Bund, and then you're probably looking at the 10-year and the 30-year, and then you have some absolute maniacs that trade like the twos and fives and stuff. But I think ever since they've changed the tick ratio on them, they're not as appealing anymore. Um, yeah, but mostly your 10s and 30-year, and then you have some people that will trade the ultra as well. I feel like a little bit more feistiness. One thing that always amazes me is when people start trading, right? They always trade NQ. It's like give yourself a fighting chance. If I was to start a desk tomorrow, right, um, and actually blow this prop firm industry on its head instead of just rinsing people for, you know, fees or whatever to then let them make a couple of grand and then transfer them to live. Do you know what I mean? Um, you need to actually charge them a decent wedge. You need to, and when they actually pass, you instantly put them into a live environment. And you potentially back them with some capital that is extremely managed with a risk manager. Um, you actually have some briefing calls and you run through it properly. Do you know what I mean? Because then the whole idea of this is, are are you gonna, how to explain this? Are you gonna make your money from winning traders, or are you just gonna do the standard thing that this industry does, which is 90% of them or 80% of them fail? So let's just milk them and then try and lose not as much on the winners. Whereas you can make a lot more if you find good profitable traders that kill it in the market, you know. And none of this 90-10 split, 80-20 split. It's a 50-50 rev share. You're backed with proper capital, and it's actually managed, you know, properly. And you need to go for a vigorous challenge in order to pass. Because you can't just take any Tom, Dick, and Harry that comes in. Interesting to hear people. Interesting to hear people's thoughts on that. Oh, it took years and years. Bonaz, it took years, man. Um, it's a continual. It's like a continual growth thing. First things first, you start off where you're better off just tossing a coin. Then you get a little bit of an edge, but you end up losing too much. You either then are stuck in those specific phases for years at a time, and then in order to be, you then get to break even stage, and then you really need to drill down in your numbers to realize where you're doing your arson, or parts that you can improve upon, and you really need to know your numbers, your stats, correlations, the times that volume comes in, you know, like every day is a learning day. And to be honest with you, it's like any other profession. You need to have done 10,000 hours in any other, profession in order to be considered an expert. Trading's no different. And sadly, YouTube and signal services and all this, you've got some guy that posts a photo on a laptop, you know, on his phone saying he's making thousands, per day. I mean, it's just not realistic at all. You've actually, going down that method, the way that these guys operate, you've got better odds of just taking your evaluation money, or any money you put in the market, walking into your local casino and going, you know, today I like the colour black, and putting it on roulette. You get better odds, to be honest. So with that in mind, you need to be really efficient at controlling the downside. I was talking there and this is cracked. Didn't even notice. Oh, that's the trouble, Miranda. I would probably go and say that a lot of the stuff you see on YouTube is probably not even real. If you find people that've been trading for years, they're not. A lot of it's just a front for affiliate money. That's just the harsh reality of it is. I'm not going to go on a rant about our streamers and stuff, but it's all nonsense. Yeah, here we go. So this is cracked. I kind of missed that because I was too busy ranting. But yeah, I take it NQ would have had to pop up and then we basically hit it. But let's see if we can gradually work our way up. This is good. Okay, hopefully we can just. I mean, there's just no offer here, right? Uh, well, it's taking a couple of thousand contracts to get here, positive delta wise. Um, how many ticks is this away from here? So here to here. Ah, oh, 50 ticks away. I mean, that's a lot. You know, you're not sweeping here. The only way you're going to consider a short is here, because if it gets, you know, if the market gets up here, oh, great, Sierra's just deciding to do downloads. I really need to change that. I actually did it today, um, just before the data came out, and I was losing my mind. Anyway, if the market does get up here, right, you're not going to be fading this just because some people are like, oh, there's a high volume node here. I mean, that's great and all, but all the stops are up here. So you need to wait for them to be taken, some absorption to show up in the offer, right? And then you can try and get a ride back down into here. What I would not like to see is the market does get up here and then just trades it out, and we turn this into some sort of POC level or some nonsense up here. But this is actually better, right? See, the market is absolutely pumping. This is exactly what you want to see. This is it. Come on, bang it, right? Because see, when it aggressively comes into this level, it is so much more appealing than this. See if the market was doing this nonsense, like this, do 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 do, up to it like this. This is more scary than if it just goes parabolic into the level. If it goes parabolic into the level, people are going to be getting out quicker. So let's see. I'm hoping we do get here. This would be nice. Wow. This is some pop. Okay. Okay. So I'd like to see some action. We getting orders up here? Oh, we do. We do. Alright, let's reset the delta so we can see what's going on. It's going down in 10 minutes. Slivka. It's quite a cool name. If you can predict that in 10 minutes, give me the lottery numbers, if you could. Which pair is this? It is not a pair. It is the S&P. I'm assuming by that question, dude, that you typically trade Forex. That would be my hunch, but this is not a pair. So this is the S&P, this is the Nasdaq, this is the Russell, and this is the Dow. This would be your US 500. This is the US 100. I don't know what this is called. US 2000 and the US 30 equivalent, if that's what you're trading. Okay, we've seen a little bit of 500 contracts absorbed here. There's a little bit of a lower volume area we are filling out. Hopefully we get here up to these highs. It would be quite nice. I need to take away these lines because I've got no idea what they were for. That was the high breakout. This is why Sierra needs to just give me a column that I can click and type. Something so simple but yet seems a mission to get. What's wow? What's wow, dude? Anyway, now that this is, we're pulling back, I hope it doesn't just pull back in without going up. But definitely there is no easy money in futures, sadly. I wish there was. I'd be in the Bahamas. How do you guys like the bubbles with the contracts executed? Do you want me to remove them or do you like them like that? Kind of triggers me a bit with how they take up the chart, but you can't see them any other way. Nice, postman, that you know NQ is, I don't know, I feel that depth of market on NQ is, there's just no volume on it. You maybe a footprint, to be honest. Um, NQ reminds me of something that you just, close your eyes and, you know buy a pullback or something. It's so volatile. Anyone can come in at any time and literally hit some contracts there, and the thing will move 30 ticks. It's bananas. And just as something, if you see anyone coming in and saying, "Oh yeah, you know, you're trading 15, 20 contracts in NQ," look at the bid and offer on that. You know, if you come in and you hit 15 contracts at market, you're literally asking to lose on that. Also, you're never going to get filled at the actual price as well. These markets you should be entering at limit without a doubt. I know it doesn't have a notes column. It's so annoying. Yeah, it's a really good point, dude. I have done that, but in fact, actually, let's do that because I don't have the inside prints. So how do I do that again? Chart settings, and then it was market depth, and it was market depth combined increments in ticks, which is 4. And I don't have any inside prints, so I can do that. And then, of course, the scaling screws up. See, this is the problem with Sierra. I mean, look at this. Losing my marbles here. So this is the thing with the scaling, that it just doesn't scale. You know, I'm going to need to change the tick size, aren't I? Or am I better to just? I then need to change the price display to. It's a quarter points in NQ, isn't it? Right? Yeah. NQ is a quarter, isn't it? Symbol. It's a quarter, so price display. No. Let me put this to 1. Forget it. Honestly, Sierra's scaling is the worst part about this platform. Mm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can. Hmm. Yeah, you can combine it. Actually, maybe check that out. I don't combine anything else. It's only for NQ, but I did have it before. I actually can't remember how I did it because I changed it back. But I would need to adjust. I would need to adjust the display here for the scaling. I think that might be it. But then the volume profile is then off. Right, let's have one more attempt to this. So I'm going to go to market depth, and then I'm going to make market depth combine increment and ticks and put it to 4. Right, and I'm going to apply, and it's going to basically screw up this, and then I need to change the scaling, and then make the scaling scale increment needs to be 1. Let's see if that works. Okay, we're kind of getting there. No, give me strength. I know, is that the way it's meant to be? What about volume profile? How do we fix that? Text per volume bar 4. Then it just resets to 1. Oh really? So this is it. I had something before. I can't remember how I did it. I actually managed to fix it. Um, yeah, but this is drastic to look at. You know, let's just change that honestly. So this is the problem with the Sierra. It's the one thing I've moaned at them before is the what do I need to do again? Market depth, and I need to change the scaling back to auto. Okay, apply, and then scaling. Right, let's not touch that again. What have I done? I've now just broke NQ. There we go. I'm not really too sure. I'll need to faff around with it again, but basically, Sierra scaling is one of the hardest things in the planet to 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 work out. Um, I had this on when I was trying to sort the Swiss franc, the 6S. It's the same thing, and I think there's a combination between the tick size and the scaling that's there and just displaying. I actually think it's a bug on Sierra, if I'm honest. It shouldn't be this. It shouldn't be this hard. If you want to combine ticks, you should go into combine ticks and then go to auto scale, and that should be it. You know. But then I'll go to Sierra chart support, and they'll be like, "Oh, sorry, you're not pressing these 50 configurations." Oh, so are you saying I need to go and put that in under the customized columns, dude, and remove the volume profile? Is that what you're meaning? Like use it as a customizable column instead? But anyway, right, I'm with you. I'm with you. That's too much faff. I'll just watch it with one tick. Look at this, we didn't get very far, and then now they're basically pulling the bid and some selling is coming in. Oh, it doesn't? Oh, gosh. Gosh. So that's clearly the two limitations about Sierra I've found. No text column. To lay out an order is shocking on the DOM because it takes up a load of space, and the scaling is brutal. That's my only three complaints about Sierra, if I'm honest. The platform's perfect, of course, but everything else, love it. It's like a love-hate relationship with the thing. To see the volume profile, you need to enable it to use compression from the DOM. You've set it as 4 for NQ, so it's 4 to 5 rows lower. So how do you set the compression of that on the on the study? Is it in the study? Yeah, Jigsaw is better for a lot of things, to be honest. Nice, dude. Well, hopefully you're learning. That's the main thing. Today is pretty much a garbage action, so I just don't know how you were going to sell there. I mean, there was some absorption at the highs, but you know, what, 700 contracts? Nothing notable, to be honest. Now we look at the bid just been pulled here. There's not really any selling coming in, and the bid is just dying. You see that? Not really any selling coming in. It was just absolutely cliff dived. Chart settings, market depth, apply increment and text to recent bid and ask volume. Oh, does that affect the volume profile? Oh, because I thought that affected the inside prints. So that affects, okay. But this is dumping though, let's watch. So do you see now there's a bit of selling coming in, right? But nothing for the size of this. Look how much buying came in to basically get us up here. So the selling has come in. So literally this is out of whack. So the bid is pulled. Have a quick look up. 17, 4, 8, 32. You know, basically the market's not needing a lot to trade through these prices. And of course we go back to POC, bounce around a little, some profit taking. Then we need to see if they're going to continue smashing it or not. But we've got VWAP and previous day high and previous day close down here, so there's going to need to be something crazy to crack here. No, I completely agree. Jigsaw is literally only good for the DOM, and what I don't like doing is basically having to have two separate platforms open as well. Um, you know, but a lot of the time people use Jigsaw for the DOM and Sierra for the charting. You know, it's a very common because Jigsaw is Gash for the charting. It's a very right. While this is out there, I want to see that because now the curiosity is killing me here. So I need to combine the four increments. So chart settings, symbol as market depth, and then market depth increment and ticks, and then scale it after. And then you said apply increments to this. Where's my why has my cursor disappeared? Honestly, what's going on here? There it's there. See, that's weird. Okay. Okay. Rob is onto something here. And then auto scale. No. I did set that right, didn't I? Market depth, and then it was combined market depth increment and ticks. Yeah, four market depth increment ticks 4. Apply increment and ticks to the recent bid and ask. let me put in more levels here maybe, because NQ's wild. I don't think it works for the volume profile. Anyway, let's just change it back. It enforces, right, okay, I'm with you. It enforces 1 on the VP, right? Okay, let's change this to 20 so it doesn't take up so much. Why is my cursor disappearing? What's good? Why is there so much technical pain today? It's just the cost of doing business, exactly. Selection today, got it. You said there's tons and tons of options. It's really not user friendly, so you need to be prepared to put time into it. And that's what I'm meaning by it's kind of like a love hate relationship with it. I put so many hours into Sierra that I now can't leave. So long 70 to 78. Okay, dude. See if you get a little pulley back. You need to see some buyers come in at the moment. Mr. Orderflow, you're planning a trade room and want to do multiple screens, vertical setups. Do you have that going? I've just got 2 screens, mate. Nothing super fancy. That's really it. And see, to be honest with you, maybe this is just me, but having as much in your peripheral view is extremely important, because in order flow trading, by the time you look left to a different screen and look back, you know, you need to be extremely focused. That's why trading is so taxing when you're when you're trading order flow. You need to keep track of loads of different things. That's why you can only do it a number of hours a day. But you don't need a million screens, mate. I would say, have one for your DOMs, one for your, like, you can maybe your higher time frame analysis. And to be perfectly honest with you, you don't even need 2 screens. Just have a big enough screen so you can have as much as you can on it. Depends what markets you're going to trade as well. So say this trade goes for you, dude. Long 70s. Need to go 78s. So you need some buyers to come in. They're not coming in at the moment with the Dow tanking here. Hello, dude. How's it going? Welcome. How's your day? Did you survive the CPI prints? I think 25% of all prop blue accounts today. Just my bets. Would have been a great day for Apex. Always is. They probably love those tier one data days. They're like, woohoo, more Benjis. If guys get in, they don't even know what a bidding offer is. Going long 15 contracts and then you'll go long 15 contracts and then queue prior to CPI and stuff. It's just asking to get melted. Icon looks decent. You've been using them for some time, and I must say I really like them. Yeah, I quite like them as well. Just keeps away some of the fluff. Um, I don't really use candlesticks for treasuries, to be honest. Um, I have like a wider setup where I just like to draw key levels. Um, on treasuries, same kind of setup, but like my general like intraday analysis, I'm not looking at it for treasuries. I look at it in ES because ES is extremely sweepy. It's always the same, dude. I I don't even know if I even get any revenue from that pike, to be honest. I'll maybe make like a tenth of a pence. Yeah, Alex, how's it going? Got my ass handed to me today. Unfortunately, traded 1 hour after release. Yeah, it happens. I mean, really, really whippy. I think you had to be on point with the fundamental analysis today in order to crack it. To be honest, I take it. Did you short? Do you think we were going to dump and did you short down here and then you had this whip back in your face, or were you trading treasuries? Were you trading treasuries? Six ticks in the tens and another six in UV. Oh, it's a bad day, dude. Um, I take it. Were you shorting? Were you expecting an extension on? Because we came out. Obviously, the initial bid up was just, I don't know, taking some stops up there. There's not really any volume traded if you look at the footprint. Um, and then we essentially sold off and we went down to like yesterday's sort of low value area, low sort of area, if I remember correctly. And then we went bid up. I take it, were you shorting the pullback on that, like quite early on in the session? Because I can see how that would be the part that would actually quick run through that. So um, the initial hit that we had where the news came out, here we had this bid up, but if we actually, let me just bring this up. If we look at the profile, the footprint, there's just no volume traded here. So this is just an initial hit. Um, nothing traded, just basically stops triggered here, and then the market then basically just dumped off. And we then essentially pulled back, and I take it you were basically fading, something like these imbalances, and then the market just ripped in your face, something along those lines, or shorting the continuation or something. Am I? If you're trading in the first hour anyway. Anyway, let's go back to indices. This is Oh, we've actually moved a little bit. How many ticks have we moved? 3 ticks. Good old 10 year, honestly. Moved 3 ticks in an hour. Yeah, anticipated a dump from below a step in the profile to fill bulges. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, dude. See, with the data that actually came out, it didn't make sense to me why we were dumping, to be honest, because it wasn't bad data that came out at all. Actually, it was forecast and a slight miss for the year on year, which bets were cut a little for the amount they're going to cut by in September, but they're still definitely cutting. I actually think after it just shows you that the market is in essence exactly where it was at pre-release. So it just shows you how efficient the market is at pricing that in. Um, you mean like a heart rate monitor or something? Something like that. Bonus. Right, I'm with you. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. Um, Not really. I drink too much coffee, to be honest. Um, Drink too much coffee. Let's do that. I'm already alert, as it is. To see I'm under. And see, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't really get that stressed. I don't allow positions to go balls deep so that I'm absolutely biting my fingernails. I don't allow that to happen. So yeah, I don't really get that stress. I mean, obviously everyone. It doesn't matter how long you've been trading. You're still, finger at the pulse when you're in a trade. That's what it should be. You shouldn't be taking a trade and being like, oh right, let me go and you know. I mean, if it's a long-term position, then by all means. But if you're scalping with extreme leverage, it's not like I'm gonna ever be okay with putting a trade on and then going to the pub. You know. Yeah, I mean, it could definitely work, dude. To see if you're getting stressed, I suppose my question would be, you know, my initial thoughts is like you need to make sure what your baseline is to see how much of a pie you are, because your resting heart rate might just show that you're eating too many burgers. uh, uh, put on the heart rate monitor that says too much beer. Oh god. Yeah, well, you definitely feel stress when you're in a position. That's just normal though. You know, you're sort of, no one likes to lose money, so it's a normal emotion, you know, to feel stressed. But typically, when you mismanage the trade, is when you've got too much size on, so you feel every single tick against you. You know what I mean? And you need to really be comfortable with, you know, you need to take, when you take the trade, you need to decide, like, am I only going to take a few ticks out of this, or am I going to let this run? And if you're going to let it run, then you need to give it a bit more breathing room. You need to decide that before you get in the trade, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to decide it when you're in the trade. Because when you're in the trade, you're all you're always going to just say, this one I was going to let run. Do you know what I mean? You need to make an objective decision when you've not got money on the line, because otherwise you'll just potato it. I'm saying that from experience. Yeah, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. Um, I think you need to have circuit breakers in your platforms as well. Like if you're trading a personal account, call your broker and say, you know, I've got the tendency to be an absolute degenerate, so can you cut me off at this amount, please? Because at the end of the day, you know, it's not like CFDs. You know, your broker is, you know, they need you to stay in the game. If you go and donate all your money to the market, they don't make any commission off you, so they actually want you to continually trade with them so that you can make money. Do you know what I mean? We're kind of dumping here. Yeah, exactly. It's an uncomfortable feeling. I don't know if you guys ever put on a bet or anything. It's the same. It's the same thing. You know, I'm not even joking. I've done a lot of match betting and stuff in the past. Anything that there's an edge, I've been involved in, right? And sometimes I'll put on a bet, right? Not saying I'm a degenerate here, but I'll put on a bet and then see if it goes 1-0 up and I've only been in it like 15 minutes. I go into the exchange and cover it. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting for a full, a full match, biting my nails when I can easily take, you know, like 50% of the bet or something. Do you know what I mean? Just not always the way it is. Exactly, and that's the way to do it, Pike. You know, you need to have circuit breakers in place because you're never going to be able to do it when you're in a trade. Like that's just, you know, just a given, right? You need to do it when you're in a sort of steady frame of mind, because when you were in a steady frame of mind, you made an executive decision that you're going to stop trading at this loss or this number of trades or whatever the case is. And I would advise you to look into your sort of average winning days that are normal. How many trades do you take? And very typically, when you go to your probably biggest losing days, I can guarantee you've just been absolutely smashing the mouse, you know, in terms of clicking it in multiple trades. You know, so if you average, I don't know, 10 trades a day, you know, your losing day, you're probably in 25, 30 trades. There's no danger that you've got the mental capital to be in 25, 30 trades a day or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd be absolutely exhausted. Smarkets. I use Colin. Um, Smarkets, where if you do a little bit of a loophole, it's free to basically cover everything. And then I participate in a little bit of Bet365 2 up offers from time to time. Need to be watched though, because they just ban your account when you take too much money off them. I ideally would rather just net lose on the bookmaker and they'll be positive on the exchange because they don't care. Yeah, over leveraging is the killer. You need to always remove the boom and bust phase. It's, you know, you want to try and keep some consistency in there, and then as you make more money, you know, you can size up and keep the consistency there. It's the big swings that are the killer, and it rocks you mentally as well. We're just faffing around point of control right now. We've got what, 10 minutes, 13 minutes the volume comes in. Alex, here's a bad pattern for me. While micromanage, get in a position, market moving slow, cut the trade, switch direction and get stop loss. Wow. No, I think with me, like I normally, unless the flows are completely different, right? When that data came out today, and and I have a typical rule that what I do is I have an idea of what I'm expecting the market to do when tier one data comes out, and if it comes out and it's in line, or if it's in line or a beat or whatever the data happens, right? I then say, okay, that market should be going up or it should be going down, and then I quickly go to the charts, and then I'm like, wait, actually, it's not doing that. It doesn't make any sense. Um, and then I start looking for levels and decide what the flows are like. Uh, and then I typically try and look for that direction. Typically. Now, if I get in the trade and then the flows are absolutely, dog shit for what I'm looking for, I will then just look to cover it, of course. I think I took seven ticks today, but there was one trade I think I covered for, it was a two or three tick. I think it was a 3 tick loss, and that was I literally ticked the low as well on it. So I didn't really need to, but I just didn't want it to basically smash the lows and then take a full amount. I thought, well, I can just buy this higher and then write it back up, which happened. So yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. It's one trading day and one trading week should never wipe you out. To be honest with you, when you get enough capital, 1 quarter should never wipe you out. You should be able to have a bad quarter and continue on. And you need to obviously realize that and you're making enough money when you're having those bad periods. Otherwise, you're on beans and toast. Exactly. Just buy low and sell high. It's the way to do it. Lamport food stamps. uh, don't know you guys, but when I trade with limit orders, I'm way better prepared and relaxed than I trade market. That thing alone made me. That's a really good point, dude. I never enter at market. I just don't. I just don't. I would rather, if I'm looking to trade treasuries, I would rather say there's 400 on into the offer, right? And I'm looking to buy and it's ticking up. I would rather wait until they clear the offer and then quickly jump in on the bids and then get filled, because normally they'll hit into that and I can get filled, rather than when they're lifting 400 into the offer, I lift in and basically lift up and try and lift with them. I never do that because typically, say they're lifting 400, the last thing I want to happen is lift up and then they just instantly hit into the bid and then I'm offside 2 ticks. That's the last thing I want. So I would rather wait until they lift and reload, and I'll join the reload portion, if that makes sense. Yeah, beans and toast is nice. Wouldn't trade news days for the first 15 minutes until I get some years under my belt. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing, it's hard to explain, but you just get, you just, you know, the easiest way to describe it is when you're doing something for 10,000 hours, you just get an intuition for it because you know your brain recognizing things, and you kind of understand that the market is out of whack at the minute, you know, or it's extended too far, um, you know. Steve, oh, put on a position. That's funny. Yeah, I got an Apple Watch years ago, right? And I was like, oh, this is good, you know, use it and all that. And I swear I had it on for a week, and it just keeps on. Oh, you've not walked enough today. Oh, you've not drank enough water. Oh, you know, your constant vibrations in your wrist. It's extremely irritating. I don't need to be reminded, you know, that I sit at a desk. Exactly, exactly. Thanks, Apple. You know, I just love steak and cheeseburgers too much. This is shocking action, by the way. Is it possible to disable market orders in Sierra? Would probably benefit you. I don't know. Just only enter on a DOM. Like I never enter on the um on the what's it called, trade window. I only have that set where it's like a hard stop. So I have a hard stop of 5 ticks, just in case you know the world goes bananas, and I'll ultimately manage the position as it goes. I don't recommend people starting to do that. I think you should just have your order brackets in place, to be honest. But yeah, typically people just look at charts and they're like, oh, it's making a higher high and a higher low, or you know, I'm, you know, it's made a higher high, pull back, I'm gonna buy. Very simply how it works, to be honest. Docs, chat. So we have 4 minutes until some volume comes in. See how we do it. We might extend this up now. Let's move drawing. Clearly, everyone today made their money in the morning and just went home or left the office. So what do you guys think? What do you think we're gonna do here? I can't really imagine us doing too much. Maybe get a sweep of the high, maybe get a sweep of the low here. Seems within range. I think this is out the picture and this is out the picture. To be honest, you never know. We might get a sweep up here potentially. We'll see. But it's just, you know, delta is only like plus 7k or something, so it's not exactly a huge amount that needs to close off or anyone's massively trapped or whatever. It's relatively neutral. Do you know what I mean? So that's where like these stop plays and stuff are not as appealing when, you know, everything's really traded out, if that makes sense. And it's almost like what can come in here is pretty much just new business. To catch up with the chat, see what you guys are saying. Would also be great if you could make it so you couldn't move the stop once you're in a trade using a bracket. Yeah, I don't think you maybe need to get an algo or something and code that to do that. Between that and using a daily loss limit would learn quickly if you wanted to keep on playing. Well, you can do that within your broker and execution platforms. You know, you can go in and set a hard stop so that it will literally cut you out of the position. So let's clear delta and stuff now. Note all the selling that was stopped at point of control, but that's just to be expected. We'll do that and then let's clear the inside prints. Just talked about the hacker stole every security number of every American. Wow, that's crazy. I would like to see a sweep of the highs. Yeah, I'll bring up gold for you, dude. Just after this is done, I'll bring it up at like in the next 20 minutes or something, mate. Oh, you got that? Wow, you're still holding, dude. Well done. Well done, mate. Nice, man. That's the way to do it. You know, you use that to your advantage because you do that when you've got a clear mind. Because the worst thing that you can do as a trader, in my opinion, is take a manageable losing day and turn it into an absolutely severed head, gashing wound, 2 weeks to recover from stuff. Do you know what I mean? You're just never going to progress if you continue in that cycle. It's much easier to just have manageable losing days, manageable winning days, you know, and it's like another, it's just another job. And then making more money essentially just comes from scaling up your size as you get consistent and you've got more data to back up your trades, you know. Once you've got thousands of trades under your belt, you know, it's no longer about is this trade going to work. It's just you know, another day, another position. Do you know what I mean? You kind of just need to grind it out. Sweep the lows if you look at heat map. Let's have a look at heat map. I don't know, there's absolutely nothing on the lows. This is the problem with the heat map. I was actually discussing this the other day. This algo here, uh, I've got no other MBO down here at the lows. All of the size is, I mean, this is the bracket algo that's not really real. There's much more on the offer than there is, and of course this isn't real. This one, it's just dancing around with the volatility. Well, that's it, Ferreira. That just comes with time, mate. You need to have thousands of trades under your belt so that you know that over a large sample that it's no longer luck. Do you know what I mean? And once you've got that, it takes away the, you know, you should no longer be doubting yourself. We need to have a sample to back that up. Let's mark this level out. I need to do it quite quickly. Eh. The high is 81 and 3/4. We actually maybe get a sweep of the high here. Very probable now, to be honest, but I still think we're going to fade back in. Let's see how they do it. Nice one, Maku. How's your day, dude? How did you get on with the 30-year? Okay, here we go. There's a little Stopperuski. Let's see if they're going to continually bang it. Delta is ticking up. We're on now for the highs. Let's see how they do it. Got all this liquidity up here. Sierra's kind of slightly freezing here with all the DOMs I have open, including on the Treasury. Nice one, Maku. Hopefully it's a good day, dude. So you took 14 tickaroos. Were you just buying? I was only exclusively buying today. Yeah, everyone's just buying exactly. We'll see here. There's not that much actual buying that's come in here, so there is loads of liquidity up here that probably wants filled. But we'll see. Yes, after report. Nice one, dude. Thanks, Postman. Have a good evening, dude. Yeah, it was quite a good bid actually in pre-market, wasn't it? Just went straight up before. It was nice. This selling does look to be being absorbed right now. That's coming in. Like we're literally just ticking the highs, and sellers are trying but not succeeding right now. Okay, so we're going to see if this market is going to pull in, or we're going to go and test the liquidity up higher. We shall see. This is running far too slow. I'm going to quickly close this. Close. Yes. Got a selling coming in here, and the market's not moving. Oh, question. Did any of you guys update to the latest version of Sierra yet? Did you notice any difference? Do you see how this keeps on waiting for downloading? I really, really need to speak to Sierra. They need to wind their neck in with that. In fact, does anyone know I need to go into global settings to adjust that? You're on version 2. Did you notice any difference? One of the things I've noticed actually in the last couple of days is Sierra is just doing random loads at times when, and it's basically slowing down things, to be honest. It did it today randomly at like 1 o'clock my time, just to open, and it just did it right now. which is strange. He's doing an update every 2 weeks. Does Sierra chart not have release notes or anything? This has been one of the most lackluster market on close I've seen. Yeah, look at the amount of red delta and the market's not even moving. Wow, shocking. Well, I mean, this was to be expected though, right? We did say that the delta is just going to flatten out and there wasn't anyone extended to cause any real pain to be honest. We did get a sweep of that level, mind you, and it pulled back. Yeah, exactly. Oh, in the release notes, automatic downloading of data for symbols. Great. Hopefully that stops that bug. Faster updating of intraday charts. Great. What version is this? Is it 4.6? Is that what you said? Thank No. Yeah, there's definitely expirations, I think, this week, if I remember correctly, on indices. It smells like a drinking game. Nice. No problem, RP. Glad you enjoyed it, mate. Pike. No problem, Bonaz. Thanks for joining, dude. I don't know if you guys are getting any other questions. Maku, I was meaning like the release notes for the version. See, when Sierra updates a version, they should have release notes for it to let you know, like, we've fixed this bug, we've, made this part better with this new product, that type of thing. Yeah, the role will be interesting. God, that was a really shocking market on close there. You got a post to dog, throw up the link. What link? Do you mean the buy Mr. Order for a coffee link? How's about that? Nice one, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna check out that we check out that release, to be honest, because I've kind of felt that Sierra's a little bit, it's not running 100%, so I probably need to update. Thanks, Stevie Boy, for support, my friend. It's much appreciated. Oh, Maku, did you watch some stuff with the with that 2 year flipper dude? Did you watch any of that? Any of the podcasts or anything? Thought it was quite an interesting. It was quite interesting hearing him discuss the 2 year. I mean, I don't know if he's trading that these days with the change in tick ratio, to be honest, but I think he was heavily trading it. Well, I don't have any notes for it. Hmm, weird. I definitely need to look in. I've never actually had a problem with this before, right? But I've noticed that the last couple of trading sessions, and it's kind of cheesing me off a bit, is Sierra is just randomly downloading data. I've not changed anything, and it's just randomly downloading data at key times. Do you know what I mean? And it's basically like some ever so slightly sometimes. When a huge amount of data comes in, Sierra will cut off for a second. Like that's understandable, right? But this just randomly downloading data, it did it twice today actually, and it never has any outages. So yeah, it's pretty strange. I've never had it before actually, so it's quite weird. I maybe need to go into the download. I need to check the global settings, but to be honest with you, I've never. I've never had a problem with it before. And obviously it gets a little bit worrying because that's the last thing you want when you're in a trade. you know. Yeah, let me know if you guys have got any other questions, or we'll look to wrap it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and we can grab some food and chill out, and another day is complete. What do we have on the calendar tomorrow? Any data out tomorrow? Let's have a quick look at the financial dues. See what's on the calendar. We have some retail sales and jobless claims on tomorrow, which will be quite important numbers because the Fed is really watching how the labour market is doing. So if this number comes out and it's less, I need to check what the range is. But if this number comes out and it's basically a miss, we're definitely going to moon treasuries, I think, because this is like the last piece where the Fed is probably waiting, on numbers because the labour market cool down is one of the ones they're watching, and then retail sales, meh. It's never really a huge movement on retail sales, to be honest. So yeah, a little bit of data that comes out 8:30. Wait, what? What's going on here? What's this talk about? I mean, there's no danger this guy's discussing monetary policy at this time, surely. Must be a foreign event or something, because there's no danger this guy's going to spin any real event here. I quite like the Michigan sentiment when it comes out. I think quite relatively light calendar. Uh, Key data point is going to be the jobless claims tomorrow. Oh wait, it's cutting out. Oh really? Hmm. Can you? We're probably just going to cut it anyway, guys. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Alright, so it just cut out for a few seconds. Oh, I can hear fine. Right. It's a bit strange. Hmm. Anyway, guys, we'll probably look to call it there. I'm going to go and grab some food, chill out a little bit. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the job numbers that will come out tomorrow. It's one of the key points the Fed is watching. I think if we get less than expected, then I think it's going to be a bid on on Treasuries, and we'll see the dollar. The dollar will be going down, and the stock market will do what it's going to do. But I'd expect a continuous bid from it tomorrow, depending on those job numbers that come out. I have retail sales as well, but not as important. Yeah, no problem, guys. Glad you enjoyed it. Burger, steak, and haggis. I like them all. I've got some pet haggis here. It's like a running Scottish joke. Anyway, guys, if you want to support the channel, you can do it via YouTube or you can do it on the pinned link. Yeah, Iron Brew is always good. I'm actually not a huge fan of Iron Brew, to be honest. Anyway, everyone, you guys take care, and we'll catch up tomorrow. We'll be on probably at the same time, so we've got another good trading day under our belt tomorrow, and we'll see how everything pans out.